from H10. Hi,
Yeah.
Donna Olafson from H10.
Hello down there.
Yeah.
Be careful.
I'm planning on going tomorrow too. I noticed that you're on the agenda. Oh, open space.
Open space? Oh, okay, no, I didn't see that.
Really?
But yeah, I'll go. Open space, you're, here, CPA.
I thought it was open space.
Okay, I'll check.
I'm pretty sure it's open space. That's
What was the time?
Here, I'll look.
it was, you had to talk about tree cutting.
Well, what?
Tree cutting.
Yeah,
Oh,
tomorrow was
yeah,
open
that's right, that's
space.
right, there was one of those.
Okay,
On,
Which tree?
Wilson,
Oh, could have been Wilson. I'm not sure.
I think it was Wilson.
oh, good enough, thank you.
It says Peter Lagoy mowing schedule to.
Mowing.
Mowing schedule, okay, that makes sense.
Sorry, the tree cutting.
That's a
Still, it would be good for Ed to have reached out to me, because, I
Yeah.
noted that, something you and I talked about, that we've got to kind of
Hi,
coordinate.
everybody. Hi, everybody. I did hear you say hello to me.
Hi.
Space.
Can you hear me? This is Donna from HCM.
Yep,
Okay, great. I just also wanted to let you know we are now streaming live, and we're also just trying to work out a technical difficulty because we're streaming the main screen, which is where you're sitting, as well as all of the attendees that have connected in. So usually it's just the stream of you at Town Hall.
so both the people who joined online are also physically here. So we're
Okay.
okay.
Usually the view is just of the town hall, but right now we're actually seeing all of the people that have joined as well. So there's like 5 bubbles, but we
Yeah.
are working on it. So hopefully that will change, and you are streaming live. So whenever you want to start, you can, and everything should go well.
Peter, can you click on ours? Do they go from the view?
Probably, but I don't know how to do it. And I don't want to just black it out.
Yeah.
So, all righty.
Here we go.
Here.
Once I start sharing.
Yeah. All right, it being 7:00, 7:01 actually, let's get started. We are both virtual as well as in person, but the entire committee is in person, so we can take regular roll call votes without asking for names. Way of introduction, public comments, and approve the minutes. As far as public comments, I wanted, Dave, why don't you start with a couple of yours with regard to like Pine Field and the winter recreational, just to
Yeah.
let folks know, and I think it's something we might want to bring up for the next meeting.
Okay, just real briefly, a couple of things I wanted to talk about and actually maybe put the first one on our list of tasks for this committee is getting a little bit involved with the redevelopment plans for Pine Field, the baseball field on Fruit Street. I know that's been going through a lot of acceptance and rejection and whatever, but it would be nice because the trail behind the post office that leads from Wood Street to Pratt Farm, the Pratt Farm Trails, that's essentially been cut off by the gun club. It would be good to get another sort of connection between Whitehall and those Fruit Street fields. And it could go through the area where the pine fields are, the baseball fields. There's nothing there now, but as they're being redeveloped, it would at least be good to get involved and have them consider a trail that would connect from the cemetery to the Fruit Street fields, thinking in the future we may want to have a loop trail around town, and that would be a key connector. So all I'm asking now is that we get someone sort of tuned in to the Parks and Rec Commission so that we have a voice at the table,
Okay.
essentially.
And I suggested at the next meeting, we volunteer somebody sitting at this table for that role. And the other one?
The other is, there was some stuff on social media recently about sort of the winter trails, and this has been the first year that we've actually had a decent snowfall for cross-country skiing and snowshoeing. It's the first year, like in at least 5 years, that we've actually had decent accumulation. And there was talk about sort of people boot tracking on ski trails or snowshoe trails. And a couple of weeks ago, I actually went to Lincoln, Mass. And they actually have a sign there at their trailhead saying, please don't walk on ski trails, walk beside ski trails. And I was thinking maybe we could adopt that, not as a regulation, but sort of as a courtesy or guideline for certain areas. Maybe we could start with one area being Pratt Farm, because the trails there are pretty wide, and in general, they're wide enough for 2 tracks next to each other. Whereas a lot of our trails in town, it's basically a single track. So maybe designating that as a winter sports area, and just maybe posting a couple signs saying about winter trail etiquette, about not booting on the ski tracks, establishing 2 side-by-side paths when you're breaking trail, things like that.
Well, puzzled in one way, that I've been doing extensive cross-country skiing. I've not been troubled by boot tracks. In fact, I've only been troubled by snow. The boot tracks that help me go, and
Okay, but I mean, I think maybe for next meeting again is to think how many trails we'd want to put a sign like that, and to think about what kind of sign. So Lincoln, if we could get a picture of that, would
Yeah, I
be
do
great.
have a picture of that.
Perfect. And if you could share that with the group, and then just
Okay.
for next meeting, again, think about what trails we'd want to be putting those signs on. Because I think it'd be good to have those in the shed to pull out as needed.
I think it's a nice thought, but I don't think it's realistic. Why is,
It's pretty standard on parts, actually.
well, we're not in Mountain North, we're in Metro West. If they want to go out for a walk with their family and their kids, they're gonna pick the path that is most comfortable.
Which is,
Just saying,
so,
which is going to be the ski. It's going to be it's going to be the area that's parked.
yeah, I don't think so, because like a lot of these folks did snowshoed around and opened up snowshoe tracks. And snowshoe and bare booting is still a pain there, but that I think is sort of the shared use path. But specifically skiing, it really, if you want to go with any speed on skis.
I think that's nice here in Louise. I really think so, but there are a lot of people who are just out there with families and dogs and just want to walk the easiest for, and so it's nice to put it up there. I don't disagree with that. I think it's educational,
Yeah,
but I wouldn't expect.
No, it's absolutely not. I mean, don't get it up in New Hampshire.
I don't think we should go out for regulation.
no, not like at all.
Don't say.
It's not like an etiquette for my or something. I agree with that.
Yeah,
I mean,
courtesy.
other points.
All right, that for next meeting, this is.
I have a quick question under the public comment. So obviously living in close proximity and having a relationship with Hughes, it's been frustrating to me that I don't have a plow and my snow blower can't get in there. That I noticed there's very little
Item B.
traffic. Oh, it is
We'll get to it.
plowing parking
Well,
areas.
it's part of the whole,
Okay.
how do we share
So those-
events and what are we going to do?
All right, but I kind of wanted to put it on the more immediate than instead of long term, and I'm happy to, place a call if there's other parking areas you guys think, because I think it's going to take a while for the snow to melt still.
Yeah.
And this is the season where it's getting warm, people want to
Okay,
get.
when we get to 8. And then the final other public comment I had is that I managed I ran into Rich of American Climbers. And he's very enthused and interested in helping out with a play area on Hughes that we've talked about. So the question, to those of you on that group, it's like, how do we package that and get it into the priority list?
We can talk about in the subgroup.
Okay. All right.
Do you
Do you need any?
information you need about it, or do we need a proposal?
No, I think we'd want to be, like anybody else, we want to be putting a proposal together. So proposal I would send to your subgroup.
Can I volunteer to draft a proposal and run it by who? A couple people?
I'd like to be involved since I care about it a lot.
By anybody else? One other person want to give feedback before it goes to the other subcommittee?
Well, yeah,
Okay, I figured so. Okay, cool.
yeah, so the three of us, and then we'll give it to
But it'll still be talked about as a group.
right, and ultimately decision of the
Already have a.
overall committee, but yeah, you've got some stuff.
I had two little things from webinars I attended about trails. I can either talk about them now or at the end. They're pretty brief. The first one is I went to a webinar on community engagement. Just in general, not about trails specifically. And the most important thing that they said was making people feel like they belong. And I think that was just a really great summary of the most valuable thing you can do to the community, to engage the community, is making feel like either they do belong or they can easily belong. So every time we have a work day, telling people no experience needed, every time we sponsor a hike or talk about our trails, letting people know these are easy, you can do most of these, having trails for everyone. So I just thought that was a great way to summarize it. And I attended another webinar from IMBA, the International Mountain Bike Association. And that one was about community-driven trail building. I assume no one else here went to it. And they talked about their process for building trails, and I didn't really love it because they made it seem like it's sequential, and it's definitely not. But they said they don't ever start with the map. They start by talking to people, and the map is way down the road. So he thought that was a very interesting way of looking at how they do things. And they also talked about having specialty trails and specialty zones, kind of like we're maybe talking about for cross-country skiing, or, trails with no dogs or trails with dogs, like they talked about. That's a very valid thing to do. So I just wanted to share that from those two webinars. Thanks.
Any other public comments? Moving on, the minutes for January. Anyone have any? Did everyone read them? And then did anyone have any comments on them? I thought they were fine.
I thought they were fine.
All right. Seek a motion to approve the minutes as written. Second. Andy? Yep. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any abstentions or noes? Unanimous, and so carries. All right, project updates. East Main Street trails and parking. There, we're basically waiting on the weather. The sort of the next action item, hopefully we'll be meeting with the utility folks and talking about getting into that parking area and then get that moving, but we need the snow to be gone. B, Loop Road to Chamber.
We have a site walk to do there.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Same thing, and the site walk will be putting Chuck in the spring once the snow's gone.
So we have two activities that we need to do.
Right,
One,
both of them require the snow to be gone.
understood,
Yeah,
understood.
Yes.
So we have to talk to the utility folks about the driveway. And then we have to do the sidewalk to talk about the reroute. We, the committee, have to do the sidewalk to talk about the reroute to get away from the berm.
right. Okay, correct.
Is that the only thing that we're going to be considering on the existing trail? Is that how to get around that berm? Or do you?
No, it's getting up in here, getting from East Main Street to the top of, to basically Legacy North
So if you look
at less than 5% grade in not going through wetlands. That's kind of the key.
Right.
piece.
While we're talking about that, Chuck said he has a map of that area if we wanted to post it. And I said I'd ask tonight. I kind of feel like we shouldn't until we have some of these other things worked out, but it's up to you and the committee if we should.
Yeah, again, I think let's hold off a little bit until we get, the snow gone and.
I'd really like the signs gone too before.
I would be interested in seeing how Chuck's proposed is overlaid over the existing.
When you say existing, you mean the Beals map?
No.
Even the Bill Street roads.
Yeah.
Oh, we hired Beals to do a map.
That's the one, Chuck.
Oh.
I'm sorry, that's the one. On that.
So, okay, so Chuck didn't do it. We're talking about the Beals
Right.
map.
Beals and Thomas.
Oh,
Chuck just had it.
Yeah, but there's already a pre-existing one.
Yeah, it's
PHB. That wouldn't cost anybody a dime. If we went in there and made minor corrections, that would be okay, but if there are major things, we would have to hire somebody to do.
So the BHB map, we should overlay with the Beals map. Is that's what you're
Yes.
suggesting? You're familiar with the BHB map, then, yeah? Is that something?
Well, it's already online, it's out there, it's been out there for years and years. I have not seen the Beals one.
No, Beals and Thomas, we all got it.
Yeah.
Not the one from, okay, so can you clarify the current Beals and Thomas map?
Yeah,
That's
that's one
email 2 months ago,
right for East Main Street
legacy.
to Legacy.
We all got a copy at like the meeting 2 months ago or something.
Like you weren't.
Yeah.
Well, it was an email. We didn't talk, I wasn't in the meeting.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, you introduced a few hard copies.
See it overlaid. I mean, I probably did see it, but I would like to see it overlaid and see how it
Right.
is different.
But the only thing that, just to set expectations, that Beals did not cross with, is it Wilson Street? What is that? Whispers, whatever that. Whisper Lane, it doesn't go all the way to Hopkins State Park.
Right, it didn't go beyond.
I did see that one that went from East Main Street all the way up to
Right.
the
Like
top.
our North Road.
Like Sparks, but not beyond.
Right, correct.
So that one was not there was not many big variances.
No, there shouldn't have. Been.
No.
No.
I'm good with that.
That's what we're talking about. That's the Beals map.
Yeah, no,
Okay, so I was thinking it might have been the second one
No.
from
yeah. No,
down to
that's
Hopkins at State Park.
So that's a next steps.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm puzzled about the notion of publishing from the standpoint of, is this to inform the public as to what our plans are, or to actually help them go on the trail now?
Help them use it once they're out there. So the idea would be to have,
But until they're out there and they're
Right.
not, so I don't get it.
right, so there's no need to put it out at this
That's
point.
what I was.
Yeah.
It would only confuse somebody because you see mark down something that isn't actually even passable, right?
We'll call it final.
And then we did a trails club walk there. People were supposed
There was
to.
really only one major, and it wasn't really that much.
Around the berm without going over the
Yeah,
berm.
change.
No, it doesn't exist.
Now we're,
It's up over the berm. Right now, the trail map is up over the berm.
Right.
Oh,
Correct.
so the trail map is over the berm too. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
right.
So it's just the old nursery road then.
Chuck?
I was just gonna say, if someone can get me the earlier Upper Charles Trail proposed map, I can probably overlay that on, if not the Beals and Thomas map, then the precursor to that I did, so which follows exactly the same routes, so that it'll be easier to envision where the earlier proposal goes in relation to the current trails. At least before we do a sidewalk in the spring.
I think what Jane's talking about is Legacy Farms Road North, which we
Yes.
did not map yet.
Time up here. I think there's two. I think VHB did both sections.
VHB did both, correct?
Right.
But Chuck Nolan, or VH.
Chuck only's on the south side.
Correct.
Correct. And you said you don't need the overlay on that?
Yeah.
So it sounds like we're good
Yeah, I think we're all set.
right now.
All righty, so Loop Road to Chamberlain Trail. The bid document is mostly drafted. There's a couple of state requirements that I'm looking into as far as what they want.
clarify, you talking about the bridge or are we talking about the shared use path,
The whole shared use path.
not the bridge?
Meaning, yes, the bridge will be a separate contract, but that's simple.
Okay,
It's the shared use path requires a bid to go out to bid because it's going to be over $10,000 to one bidder.
can we start with the bridge then?
Once snow goes, yeah.
We need the snow to melt before we can get a contract.
Before somebody can get it, well, we can get a contract in place, yeah.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
What's my,
I haven't done it. So, okay.
Can you use any help on that? Like, can anybody help you? So you don't have to do that.
No, that one's pretty much set. I mean,
Okay,
basically I've got a construction carpenter and he's got qualifications to do it, has built bridges in town. And he's also my neighbor and he's looking for, I think the actual estimate is a little over 10, but he said it'll come in at 10. So he's going to donate some time. And materials, I think, are about 7, something like that. So it's going to be.
Remind me, did we vote on a not to exceed amount or something at some point? I can't remember on that.
no,
No, we need not on that.
Okay.
No, I'll bring that, I'll put that in a package, get the information to him and bring it to the group
okay.
to vote on. Yeah, sounds good.
yeah, possible, Peter, and I definitely applaud, her point saying, I think you got a lot on your plate, and if there's anything that somebody else in the committee can pick up. So you said, sounds like you have a strong relationship with this contractor, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the other contractor, the bigger bid project, it's looking at, I'll be working with Dave Del Torio on, what's a requirement versus guidance from the state. So for example, on all horizontal bids have to go out as just bids, that's fine. In terms of qualification, the state has, you have to be in their certified contractor list, and that's a 21-day program. But it's also probably more complicated than it needs to be. So I want to see whether that's a absolute requirement, in which case, I can talk to the contractors I'm thinking about putting, that I'd like to see doing the work. And if it's not, then but that's a Dave Del Torio call ultimately.
Who's Dave Del Toro?
Dave Del Torio is
He's
a
a town
town engineer. So he'll do, he does the final on the bid documents.
Yeah. I think part of our responsibility is to have him involved in the final steps of it. So it has to have over his desk.
Including the bridge or just the shared use path?
No, and
Just the shared use path.
yeah,
The bridge is under that $10,000 magic
Right.
number, so we can basically.
Because of services, because the total value is gonna be 17 grand.
Right, for services.
And services under 10 grand,
Right.
material
Right.
is 7 grand.
anything over.
Yeah.
A bucket amount has to go through
Just to go
a
to.
bid through a process. a bid
State.
process.
When it's services, not materials.
Correct. Correct.
That's good.
Remember we have a process we said we would follow for projects. Have we been for this? Where are we at with it? We had like a form that we would walk through.
I don't think we've reached something we haven't encountered something since this committee's been, I think.
We followed it for a few things like Ash Street parking and
Yeah.
a few other things.
Yeah,
I'm just wondering if this project is at that stage.
No, I think it was under the bid amount.
Speaking of
Doesn't
water,
have to do.
Talking about the information, so yeah, so we're discussing, it's kind of like a process.
The process, the committee goes,
Oh,
Yeah.
telling the voters, well,
Yeah, our committee, not the.
Yeah, I know. The process.
within a butter,
Yeah,
so. it's-
Interested parties.
Yeah, should we, are we at that stage yet? Or not till next time? It might be worth looking at the document and see what needs to be done,
Right.
just because it seems like these are getting really close.
Yeah, again, it's, gonna be out well after the snow melts.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's a good point, is our notice, and not so much notice to the butters, but the project,
Mhm.
trail updates. I mean, this is a little different and they've already had, as a requirement of the Concom, we've already
Mhm.
sent them all letters and stuff, but that doesn't mean they paid a whole lot of attention to what's actually happening.
For the
So,
bridge or the shared use path.
for the combination. This would be, for our purposes, it's the combination.
So we went through Concom for both the bridge and the shared use path.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was one package.
Okay. And abutters were legally notified through that
Right.
process.
Correct. But what we haven't done is our process of, letting
outreach.
folks know. Yeah.
No, I started to draft, I thought I sent you a copy of a month or so ago about not just the loop to Chamberlain, but also Berry Acres. Right? So that whole trail system, and you have a lot of activity that's going on. We've done a lot of work and we have some substantial projects coming
Mhm.
forward. And it would be helpful if we created more transparency with regards to what we are doing.
We have totally new neighbors in that whole area. It's,
Well, regardless if they're new or not, there should be some transparency, some outreach that we would need to do.
We look at the process and see what it asked us to do and see if that helps us.
no, but I think that's a good point. And my point with new neighbors is we are basically their introduction to town. So, it's a chance for us to kind of
Good point.
get on board and with these folks.
But my concern is that we have all these different initiatives, and I know Berry Acres is on the agenda as well. And if we reach out to them about the bridge, or we reach out to them about the shared use path, or reach out to them through the Eagle Scout who's going to be doing the cross-country course.
Right.
And then we reach out, to me, that just seems like a lot of different multiple touches. So if we follow that document and we didn't kind of say, oh, let's look at this from a high level viewpoint, and let's create a bigger package.
Yeah.
That's my
a good
plan.
idea, yeah.
Well, anyway, tonight's meeting, we talked about Luke Chamberlain, we went right to the shared use path and skipped over the bridge, right? Are we gonna even talk about the Eagle Scout project?
We are not right now, but you're right.
That's my concern and that's my flag, is that the messaging is very disjointed. And it's not to say that we're not trying, we're not doing anything, it's just, I want to make sure that we as a committee control the messaging.
Yeah, and this is a little bit unique in that we've got a bunch of things going on in the same spot. So that is rare that we have that, but to your point, you're kind of taking the lead on the Berry Acres stuff. I'm taking the lead on the shared use path and we're working with the Scout on the other, but they're all in the same area. And so that should, I hadn't really thought about, because we're not really at that point of when we do the public outreach and from our perspective. But I think it's a good point that, yeah, it ought to be one big package.
I think we could update the process to add a thing that says, are there other projects going on in this area at the same time? If so, consider working with them as a whole as opposed to individually.
Yeah. No, I think that's a
And I don't think
great point.
this may be the first time we've seen this, Peter, but I think this is gonna be more frequent. And you look at these other bigger trail systems that we're talking about, Legacy North, the Upper Charles Trail, right? That's gonna have multiple different facets going on.
Yeah.
And if we have these disjointed messages, it's gonna do us a disservice. Elmwood Farm is the same thing.
Yeah.
For a master, for some.
Well, that's why I honestly, I was hoping that something out of this.
Well, it's happened later.
So we had to talk about that, this heavy stuff.
Granted, I don't think we reached that point. We didn't
Right.
deep down that, but it's still not too late because I think that's going up in tonight's meeting and we could probably figure out a
I'm
place.
sure you guys have the framework of the latest document.
Yeah.
So I
There
think
you go.
from Luke to Chamberlain,
To you.
is there an update on the Eagle Scout project?
No, haven't heard anything more. I know Laura, who's the coach, is off in Florida for a bit, but I haven't talked any more with her.
I haven't heard anything either, so it's been radio silence on my side.
And I still haven't heard exactly what the dollar amounts is that's available for that, so. Which is fairly important piece of it, not so much for his work. And again, he's talking to Rich, I think he can get the wood chips and that stuff for free, just like you did. But
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the wood chips, but I was under the impression, well, we don't need to go into details of the cross-country course, but okay, no update on that.
Berry Acres, any other than waiting for snow like the rest of us? anything new on that?
Well,
Other than you got approval, right?
oh, yeah. So Concom approved it, so we're all set to reroute the trail and build a bridge on the Brad Hopkinton LLC property. We need the snow melt to get access to our wood, and we need the snow melt so we can just start building the bridge. The 40-foot boardwalk on the Eversource property, that's not gonna happen probably at the earliest, something September, October, if we're lucky. I really think that. After your email to Eversource with that indemnity agreement, it's been crickets. We haven't heard anything, at least I haven't.
No.
And so I'll ping you again tomorrow and see what the status is. My fear is that it's gonna have to go through at least 2 or 3 different departments, you know, which takes weeks, if not months.
They're not as bad as the railroad, but being one of them, one of those energy companies, I know we take a while to go through stuff. I just got pinged on one going, what's the status of this from June? Well, I don't know. Said no, I thought I was doing Pennsylvania, but okay. But anyway, it does take a while.
And then I think that's it for the immediate projects on Berry Acres. I don't advocate that we do any blazing or marking of any of the trails or even finalizing the map until we talk to Eversource and have their agreement on the integrity.
Yeah.
That's my recommendation. I don't think it's in our best interest to do that. I think we want Eversource to be partners with us.
All right, and then the other piece there is, again, waiting for the snow to melt and get out there with Dale Danahy and see where we want the trail to go on the
That's one that I forgot about. Yes, it's on my list,
Yeah,
but I forgot about it for tonight's
Yeah.
discussion.
Yeah.
And then longer term, I do think we should contemplate clearing out a little bit and making a driveway or putting in some subsurface so that the driveway is easy from the curb cut on East Main Street.
yes, okay,
Right, and then having that subsurface, whether it's crushed stone or stone dust, right? And then maybe allow for 3 to 4 car parking.
right, on the south side of the,
Correct.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do we have this written up somewhere? As a whole project?
Yes,
No, not just the name, like the proposal for all this stuff, like
the concept of the parking spots, it's concept. There's no proposal or a concept. That's how I positioned it tonight. I'm gonna continue until we move forward on the other stuff.
yeah, so what I would see happening is I'll get out there and, we'll get out there with Scott Curran. Hopping in Home Site, who's done the other parking stuff. We'll take a look at that. Get an estimate from him. If it fits in 4 corners for a budget, then we'll bring it back to the committee to approve. Same thing on Echo.
I mean, it's a pretty simple thing because there already is parking space for 3 cars. It's just a question as to whether it's good enough parking, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And there's a curb cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's putting stone dust in so that it's visible. All righty, e-bikes, there was a meeting. Scott attended with Elaine, or what, 5 of us there?
Yeah.
Mostly Sustainable Green, Ed Harrow from Open Space, 2 of us. Elaine's put together a draft of an article. I think to distill it down, well,
Yeah, you want me to do it?
yeah,
So in summary, it was just varying perspectives from residents around the town. And Elaine was just sort of open to feedback. And the 5 or 6 people were just kind of kicking around ideas, and where we kind of united or aligned, and this is the essence of the warrant that Elaine is drafting, or has drafted, I haven't seen it latest, is that for what the Trails Committee designates as shared use paths, electric, AKA mobility devices, will be allowed at a speed limit of 10 miles per hour. With a requirement for a posted speed limit of 10 miles an hour.
Posted.
Yeah. So to be obviously fair, alert, and hopefully that even reminds people. So that's kind of the essence of it. And there's little nuances which you picked up on, like Are we gonna allow a car to go 10 miles an hour down there? So we'll figure that out,
But
but
we didn't want to limit it to e-bikes because there's the motorized scooters now and all the
Yeah.
stuff, so.
so then what we might need to tweak it a little bit.
Yeah,
I
then-
don't know, that's why I haven't seen the latest, but
Yeah.
that's the essence of it. I don't know if anybody has any questions or comments.
So
That was perfect.
only on shared use paths,
Only on shared
which
use.
is Center, Echo, and Hughes.
Hughes, Echo,
Wherever it's.
Center,
Wherever there's. a
Legacy.
Yeah.
And there's one
Legacy.
more.
The sidewalks are essentially shared use path.
Yeah,
They're.
yeah.
like-
So there could be zones. And the other thing we talked about, but we're
Okay, can we
Yeah.
just stop? What do we mean by shared use path in this?
I'll read you the draft of the language draft. Because obviously in the warrant, there'd have to be a definition, so it's in here somewhere. Shared use path, an off-road infrastructure, in parentheses sometimes also called trails, multi-use bike paths or bike paths that are physically separated from motorized vehicle traffic and designated for use by people of all ages and abilities. And then that's in one of the drafts. And then the other draft, which maybe can be combined with this, is that they're just deemed to be trails or that the Trails Committee has designated as such. So we could, one of the things that the group wasn't aligned on, yeah, one of the things that the group wasn't aligned on, totally, was that should we have a list of the shared use in the warrant or not? And I was kind of in the camp, if a week later, do we have to go back to town meeting to add one or remove one? Or do we designate that the Trails Committee can maintain a list?
We decide,
I think
yeah.
we're kind of leaning, or at least Elaine leaning towards maintaining a list.
How does a person know whether they can ride any?
It's gonna be signage, that's why the
It's
signage.
the only way they'll
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
there'll be a,
Or our town website and hopefully on our trail maps and things like that, we can start to designate as such. We didn't go that far in the warrant discussion, but I would think that.
A lot of this really was, I think we all agreed that the issue is probably 12 to 18-year-olds, mostly males, probably some young women as well, riding irresponsibly. And other than writing a law that says basically, if you're an irresponsible, your bike should be taken away from you until you get responsible. We needed to come up with something that'll protect the public. And the feeling was that this is really a way to start the education process as much as anything else. And that's really the best we can do. There's going to be lots of things that are missed. Already, they're not allowed on normal trails. E-bikes are not allowed.
right.
So they're allowed on the roads. They're allowed on sidewalks outside of the town, the main town district, however you want to define that, which we're not defining, that's just in the state law. And now we're allowing them on shared use paths, including Stone Dust shared use paths, which is where they're currently not allowed.
Mhm.
So it's just to be a little more
Neighborhood sidewalks are.
correct, as long as they're outside of the town center.
So, but they're gonna be allowed on the town
In the
bike
state.
path, right? That big wide bike path, they're allowed.
Yes, that's one of the designated shared use paths is the Main Street corridor.
Right, and that one probably will not get a speed limit sign on it, or may not.
Why not?
I would argue that we probably put again, I've been the speed limit guy, I was a sign guy, but anyways, that could be separate.
And they're not obnoxious because I think by law, it's at the beginning and at the end.
Yes.
So who does the final version go to? Is that the select board?
It's gonna be select board ultimately that reviews it.
Which then goes onto the warrant? Is it?
Then it goes to the warrant.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, good. And then just one more thing.
One other thing, so Nicole from the Sustainable Green Committee was part of that. She was advocating strongly because she rides her e-bike now on the trail that goes from Blueberry to the center. of town.
With their two children.
Right, so is she not gonna be allowed to do that?
What's a sidewalk outside of the town?
It's all 11 miles, huh?
Oh, it is a sidewalk? Because I was doing it on trails.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's a.
Sidewalks.
No, it doesn't.
It's the designated ones, right? And if someone wanted to come to our committee,
The designated one at the one.
yeah, so if someone wanted to, that's why I've been kind of at least expressing my opinion that we don't want a finite list,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
So if someone wants to come here in public comment or whatever, or put on the agenda and says, I'd like to add this to the list, certainly I think we'd all be willing to entertain that, right?
Okay,
And that's why we would be kind of like, in some respects, the governing body of what that list looks like. That's what I
seems to
count.
me we should at some point then, if this passes, come up with guidelines for how you add something to the list, primarily
Yeah.
for safety.
Trails info at what?
Is there going to be?
Yes, so currently, in Massachusetts, especially in small towns, e-bikes are allowed on the sidewalks. Sorry about that. Nobody's gonna stop them,
Yeah.
because especially kids, because they want them to be safe. They don't want them on the road.
Yeah, they don't want to move it.
And
Go on
they
the-
don't generally go over 10 miles an hour, so I think you're.
They said they don't.
Well, maybe,
Separate issue.
no, because if they.
On paper, they do.
What, they should be on the road.
Did
They're not
anyone
supposed to go
talk
around the
about
side.
enforcement?
Yes, so that's the one more point, Linda, I was gonna write this next one. So, and part of this is Peter's idea, if I remember correctly, so you can weigh in. Again, whatever, there was a group, but I was sort of like, we should put some sort of monetary value on it to be scary and then make the parents get a little engaged. But, so there was sort of a combo arrived at, again, it's around $100, which is obviously up to $100. And if I think after 3 violations, they take the bike
After a
is
couple, yeah.
confiscated. I don't remember the number, like 2 or 3 violations. The e-bike is confiscated for a brief period of time to create a little bit of pain so they pursue.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, it's already,
Spiders web there.
Yeah.
no, but
Enforcement.
interestingly enough, it's already in state law.
Yep,
That if you're under 18, your bike can be confiscated for 15 days.
correct.
But the enforcement piece, obviously, we've all talked about a lot.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it is what it is. And that's why putting a speed limit, maybe would remind people, if there's an angry person saying, okay, it's the speed limit, whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, that's all we can do.
Whatever issue they will. I don't think you.
Yeah,
Put it
exactly. I'm going to talk to a Milford cop
Aggravated.
about thoughts on this.
Yeah.
A certain Milford cop that you might know,
No.
Tim Brennan.
Okay, so I would just say that Milford is not helping to.
Yeah.
And we want to keep that.
Yeah, at any rate, we're talking about subtle signs, reminders, just like the etiquette sign, you know,
It's
that's.
an educational process.
It is, we talked about that as well.
When you start low, and if you have to
Yeah.
escalate,
Yeah.
you can do it individually.
Yeah.
If it becomes a
Yeah.
really group,
Yeah.
mob mentality, then you can do something. But I would.
Agreed. That's why we wanted to make it as, hopefully simple, or it's not more complicated in the description, but it's not. It's straightforward, but it's open and flexible. We didn't want to be so specific and so rigid that we want to learn from this as a town, but we wanted to also modify the state regulation.
Yeah.
Ongoingly, is Trails Committee holding on this then? Ongoingly, are we effectively owning this? Even though
It's a designated, what is a shared use path that would apply to this, yes. And if we needed DPW, someone to put a speed limit sign out, I would suggest, I would probably get.
Yeah, we will be responsible for where they go and that
Yeah.
sort of thing, but
Who would be on?
we will.
We would.
Well, I think by law, they go at the beginning of the
Right.
trail.
Yeah, right.
And.
Yeah, we'd be in compliance. with the law.
Both ends, so with people entering both sides know
Exactly.
what they're.
Alrighty,
So they're just, I'm sorry, I don't want to belabor this, but so the draft goes to the select board. The select board then approves it to put onto the warrant. Correct. Does somebody from the Trails Committee do we need to vote on it, or do we need to have somebody represent it?
no, it's a town article.
Elaine is doing it.
We're not taking the lead. It's a select board
The
article.
town manager is basically sponsoring it. She just solicited town feedback, basically.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a select board, it's not a question, so the select board.
Well, I mean,
They'll get up. to
Sponsoring,
speed.
authoring it, I guess.
Okay, all right.
When that time gets closer, we may want to prepare talking points for town meeting because things don't pass without advocates there.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. I think you're right. Nicole's a strong advocate and she has some good points.
Mhm.
Alrighty.
Moving on, item 3. So update, feedback, and then next steps for the Physical Trails Committee. I think you guys are sort of at that point.
Yeah, we have not met since the last month.
Right.
Last month, we sort of laid out lists of priorities, one list for the committee, one list of shovel-ready projects, and one list of,
But you also had a comment with regard to adding owners to the project?
yes, yeah, I think that we didn't discuss the priorities I mean, we, as a subcommittee, we proposed priorities, but I think we said at our next meeting, we should have owners for each of these projects. Or else if a project does not have an owner, it goes immediately below the line and we don't work on it.
If nobody wants to work on it and take ownership, then.
Yeah. It can't be a high priority.
Right, well, clearly, it's by definition, not high priority.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that. It's good.
yeah. So what I suggest is we pull up the list. I mean, some of these projects already have owners and maybe some of them we can start, people could volunteer to lead them. And if others want, they can volunteer to help.
And these, sorry, just the scope is like the most immediate current priorities, not the deeper down list you're talking about. It's the things we should be moving forward now, right? That was like, eight of them, I remember the number. Okay.
Right, and Linda raised the point earlier about, looking at goals for 2026, and I think this kind of dovetails exactly into that.
Okay, let me try to find that document. I hope I put the latest one up there because you nailed it out.
I think that, yeah, let me go back.
Stating the front grasp was obvious, but that's not a bad thing.
Station updated.
Tops in the list that nobody cares.
Okay. You share that?
Is it in the folder?
I have it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just brought the spreadsheet up from mistake earlier. So. Okay, so we want to go. Top 8 priorities, is that where you want to do?
No, these are like the top 8 land.
This?
Yes, that's it right there. So that is the priorities for this committee as a whole. And there's a lot of them, and really without a champion or an owner, they're not going to move forward.
And so one of the other things we had talked about, like I said, geez, I really like having the, really would like the kids' play area to be on our priorities list. We mentioned that last time. So that would be something I would actually want to suggest adding to this list or some other lists, but I'd like it to be a top priority. And
Could we put that on for a future agenda item?
Yeah, I think for next, well, the idea is to bring.
Or do you want to do it now? I mean,
No, I don't want to do it. now.
okay.
No.
I would think that's.
I think
See anything. and
That's
I'd
what we
like to
talked
think
about, having
it.
the three of us put together a
Okay.
proposal that then goes to these three
Okay.
to kind of
Okay,
say, and then we as a committee vote on, yeah, we want that as a priority. And sort of first chance to kind of beta test the
I
project.
like that. I like that idea.
Yeah, this one, it's interesting because we've got, if Rich is on board with this, he's got all the points. We can go back to this one.
Where are the names of the owners? It's not on this.
no,
Right, where does it go on here?
new column maybe.
I would maybe just put it,
Under trail system?
yeah, on the leftmost column underneath, you would have the owner.
And if we're gonna talk about it, how can we find it? I mean, I wouldn't even know where to go on the.
It's in the physical trails subgroup, but we
Okay.
can maybe change the name from updated to
Yeah.
current or something, and
Yeah,
we'll always.
Maybe if we're gonna, if it's going to be.
I can just keep the current one at that top
If it's
one.
going to be
Yeah.
an agenda item, could we just pull it out and separate it and send it to the group beforehand so we could? think
Our
about it?
last meeting, we discussed having a less frequent revisit of this,
Mhm.
right? Every X number of months.
yeah, 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, revisiting the priorities, but
If we're gonna
I think having this short list in front of us will help keep us focused too, even if it's sort of on a separate.
Oh, absolutely. No, because I mean, if it's the short list, meaning that
Yeah.
we're gonna have progress, there should be updates each month, correct? Yep.
Yeah, that sort of raises a point. When you go through the current projects, it's usually the top ones of these, the part we
Correct.
just went through earlier, so
Yeah.
maybe something will mesh there.
Yep.
So do we already have owners for some of these? I'm looking at Grove Free Berry Acres as an example.
Yeah, that's me.
Right, so should we fill in the ones we already have owners for? Yes, Sean. What's that?
What's number one? I can't see it from here.
Legacy Farms,
Farms North.
here, Legacy Farms North,
then there's the parking.
Oh,
lot.
and
And the
Effort.
parking
Okay, so
lot.
I would be interested in Legacy Farms North.
Okay. And
Number two, I think is Peter.
Right, I got it. Line two, so-
Yeah, no, I got it.
Then we can.
wow, this is easy. Berry Center Trail connector to.
That's Peter.
11.
Yeah.
Legacy Farms South.
I could be that one.
I was gonna say,
I already volunteered Andy for that one.
can two people do it?
Yeah, it'd be good to actually to pair up with.
Yeah, I mean.
What they're doing.
That's
Perfect,
great.
again, you know, mentoring a new guy. Perfect, great. Good, that's good.
Okay, Center Trail, Berry Acres, Chamberlain.
Can you scroll down so that,
Yes, sorry.
that's Peter and May.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Chuck, but he's not on our committee.
Right, no.
Although I think adding Chuck in,
Adding,
Chuck's gonna be involved.
yeah.
There's no doubt about that. I would.
It's just really the champions or the leaders.
I mean, granted, Chuck's on the call, but.
right,
Okay, Center Trail, parking on West Main.
What's the issue there?
It's improving the parking on West Main. It's going pretty awful.
But the property is owned by the respite center.
right. So what, okay, we can talk offline about what we need to do there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the issue.
Well, no, the issue is who here is gonna be the champion.
So if there's no others, I'm gonna champion. I'll take that one on because that's pretty easy and I think it's.
Okay, and me, so the two of us,
Okay,
because I know last time I did all that work, I did it through Tom Nealon and the rest of the center folks.
okay,
And they're-
great.
Yeah.
Bridge Street improvements to parking area. I'm actually fine taking on the 3 parking areas because they're kind of the same. They're not because the respite center, but the other 2 are kind of the same. Well, I guess Bridge Street has a lot of Concom issues.
So-
but-
Well, that's Pratt.
Yeah, it's really Fruit Street / Pratt.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna
say,
that's why I was
Right,
confused.
yeah.
Street, because it's,
Right, under the umbrella.
right, the big system is from Street, but that's specifically.
Thanks for
Pratt.
clarifying. That was really confusing.
Well, no, that's that's Pratt.
Yeah, and that does have a lot of.
I agree.
Issues
That's
with
what I wanted.
floodplains.
I'll take that and Echo, but I'll probably prioritize them.
Well, I'll team up with you on Echo. I was gonna take both.
Okay.
I was gonna volunteer for both Echoes,
Okay,
given proximity and
what's the other Echo? Oh, down.
the one down. Yeah, so the potential improvements. So I
Right.
can team up you in parking and take the improvements.
Hopkinton Loop.
So hold on a second, Chuck.
Just back on the question of parking in Fruit Street. I've been in communication with the Bay Path Humane Society that are going in there. And they agreed that it would be fine for us to make a couple of parking places on the side of their access road where the trail, the access of the trails goes off the old existing access road, just in terms of another more formal parking area there. Because right now, they're using that road for construction access. But there is room to make a small parking area on the side of it right by our current trail access.
Talk about the other.
So whoever has the spreadsheet should add that as another project, because that's.
Yeah.
Is that something that we would work on, or is that something that the Bay Path would be working on?
That was, my conversation was very general,
Okay.
but I think this may be something that requires just pretty minimal clearing, and then maybe a little stone dust, but I doubt that it's going to get heavy use, so
Yeah.
maybe just on earth surface may be sufficient.
I mean, that location, there's enough parking areas in that
That's what I said.
area. We don't really need another one.
Right, right.
I don't know if you need to know about that being.
We also, yeah.
Owners.
Well, that's not even.
Yeah, exactly. That's where,
Conversation about it.
yeah, I think we're good on that one
Yeah.
for now.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Hopkinton Loop. I'm gonna suggest we put that off till the second half of the year, like not do that right now, because we're kind of busy. But that's just my.
I'll be notified that you're gonna go.
Good idea.
That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
Long-term project.
we put it low on the list already, so.
So do we have someone who wants to be the owner of that?
That'd be good.
I would like to work on it.
Yeah, I would as well, but
I feel like it's almost like an opportunity for a subgroup. I don't know.
I think,
Do you think, like this strategy, this planning, there's a lot of, it's not just, what are we gonna do? It's like, what are the factors?
is there anyone else who wants to work with, we can ask now, but we can ask again later. Just if you want to say your name now, you could, otherwise we'll wait.
Yeah, later I would be happy to do,
Okay,
not to be overly ambitious, but could you add me to number one with Jane? On this, I'll be the legacy guy,
okay, with Jane.
connecting to there, yeah. Thank you.
On that term bracelet,
There you
one,
go.
whatever you call it, that boots thing.
Yeah,
I just love the idea that you brought up, somebody brought up once, I thought it was you, Peter, about having a 26.2 mile one, so. That's the way on to do, it's cool. For,
Include sidewalks, we can do it.
yeah, it doesn't have to be all in one stretch either.
Oh.
But, okay, and then Berry Acres had some kind, we talked about that.
You can put me on that one.
Oh, that went well.
Easy peasy.
Nice.
That's the easy part.
I think some of you have too many, honestly. And I would prefer, my strategy has always been focus on fewer things and finish them
Mhm.
rather than keep a lot of balls in the
Well, I
air.
think if we do goals, it's okay, like I have 3 parking lots, but I'm gonna prioritize. I'm not gonna work on all 3 at once. But once I've done one, it feels like a lot of that carries forward to the next and the next.
Okay,
So if we have goals for the committee, I would put timeframes on some of these, or at least an order priority.
Mhm.
Maybe some of you feel the same way about yours too. But
I suggest we wait until March, because a lot of these can't do anything until the snow melts,
yeah,
right? And then we'll know how much time, effort, and energy it's gonna require after the snow melts. Some of this stuff's gonna be subcontracted out, so it's managing contractor. If we're talking parking lots, it could be the same contractor, so I'm thinking minimal effort, but I don't know. I appreciate your concern, Dave, but
I think the variety of projects have too, is so variable. I think each one is going to be very different.
oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
The specific time, I think some might be short term and some might be very long term.
yeah, like number one is definitely long term. But,
Parking lots, I think there could be, some of them could be very short term.
Yeah.
So they're, I think, it's hard to put a,
it's hard to say, they could even.
it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Gotta be flexible.
And that is, and the other thing is some things that seem to be short term
Yeah,
might have one thing that
problem.
drags it out, so. And
Eversource.
exactly, exactly.
That's
You know, that could be on the list, you know, like it's a high priority, but it's not gonna get done for 12 months.
And
Oh, I think
everything is set to knock it out except for the one permission.
5 years. Seriously,
We'll see. We'll see.
Do you guys have anything else?
no, that was great. Thank you. It's already.
All righty.
well,
Okay.
actually, if you go to the second one, do we want to take a look at the priorities of the shovel-ready ones and provide guidance to the Trails Club?
Or whoever? Oh, this was gonna say more than Trails Club.
Right,
We're gonna change that to say,
implementer or something.
yeah,
Okay,
can I do it right here?
yeah,
Sure. Yeah, this thought, David, and I actually brought it to the Trails Club, was, you know, we kind of dump all this shovel-ready stuff on Trails Club, which is, you know, 5 or 6 people.
Surprise, surprise.
Oh, well, no, it's any, it's like Trails Club.
It's anybody, right, and that's what we.
That's, okay.
Or, you know, it says, any kids or students that are needing community hours.
Yeah. Who knows what they're doing? Yep. Okay, so we want to prioritize these. That's the deal.
yes.
So,
I mean, this was our first guess.
Yep.
Right.
But certainly we haven't
well,
really discussed this as a committee.
the next project is even on this list, which is clearing out the cattle run and invasives at the Stonewall at Hughes for the Trails Club, but the thing is, it's not on this list, but we're doing it because there was snow, and that's one of the few things we can do.
Right.
So we have to keep that in mind, that. And Berry Acres is scheduled for April. Some of this, not the board, not the,
The 12-foot bridge and the.
Right. right. So those two are still our priority one in terms of Trails Club. So are any of these,
So number two, I don't think we can do until we talk to the water department, yeah.
Yes, that's maybe should go back up on the upper list because that's.
I wouldn't put it up, we got too much on the upper list, I thought you said.
the big list, the like spreadsheet to draw from?
No. So you said that there was still a lot going on, we have too many people, I mean,
I said each person has
too many.
too many, like,
But there aren't any more of us.
Right.
Right.
no, I mean, I would take that one on, actually.
But you would move it up?
Yeah, because it's not shovel ready.
Okay,
When I initially put it on the list, I thought it was. I thought the trails were there. You just got to go out and mark them.
They sort of are.
They are, but I mean, as Sean put out, we would have to talk to the water department, get their permission. Maybe even talk about maybe a parking over there. I mean, they have a driveway.
Couple driveways, something.
It's kind of like a horseshoe.
Oh, right.
Just get permission for people to park there or make it clear that people can't park there.
Right,
Things like
whatever
that.
they want.
Yeah.
and let me ask a question though, if it's not shovel ready, does it still fall into the top priorities of all the other things? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, it doesn't belong on this list because
Right.
this list
Does it-
means
but does it necessarily belong on the upper list or is it on some in the future list? Like,
I think that would be for us as a committee to decide whether it's actually on this list or if it's below the line and not on the list. I mean, I think that's actually, I've been through that area and it's actually quite nice.
see, this is the part where I'm like, damn, if the play area had ever made it onto the list, I'd be voting for that one as opposed to
Right.
other things coming on. That's the hard part for me.
Well, I agree. I totally agree with that. I mean, I'm not particularly passionate about either project, but how they both popped up and how one might get versus another, it just, that hasn't been vetted. And that's why my recommendation is that there's just like the play area, that there's a process, there's a proposal for this particular project. And my anticipation in doing that proposal, you would talk to the DPW and say, all right, what's in scope, what's out of scope, what needs to be done?
Mhm.
And then, once that gets done, the subgroup, Andy, you and I talk about, I'm like, all right, do we put it into the top bucket or not? Yes or no? Instead of just kind of willy-nilly doing it now, because that seems wrong.
So it sounds like to me, you're asking for a proposal like what Linda and I did for the lake project.
Yeah.
Not.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's me. I'm not sure how much depth it needs to go. That was lengthy. I'm not sure if we need that.
It depends on the project.
Correct.
It's a big project.
Right.
That's a really big project. And I think that's why it comes up back. Yeah.
Right. No, that's exactly right.
And so I think that's a good idea. Yeah, actually, if something wants to get moved into this top list, we need to have a proposal.
Yeah.
The other thing to think about is, especially in terms of goals for the end of the year, I mean, if we got all 12 of the top and all the shovel-ready ones done, I mean, that's a
great year.
That's a huge year. And it's, I think, an unlikely we're going to get all that done.
I agree.
But some of the things, like you say, the parking areas are relatively simple. And in terms of setting goals, picking off some of those simple / low-hanging fruit things and figuring out how we prioritize so that at the end of the year, we can go, hey, we had 12 things. Turns out 3 of them are really huge and, we couldn't get to them, but hey, we knocked off, these 9. That's pretty good, but having some order of magnitude idea of how likely that stuff is, I think might be important.
No, I agree. I think the parking areas, I think we have the budget to do contract that out.
Yeah.
Before June.
Mhm.
Back to the list. All right, so it's not shovel ready, so we'll get a proposal for it, and then when that 3-month period comes, when we review new things, we'll review that. Play area or whatever up in the next. Okay,
All right. Well, I think this was good. Kind of get
well, we were
stuff.
still trying to prioritize the shovel readies. Do we want to put it off because we've already kind of gone long and we've exhausted next month?
Yeah, I think so.
I would recommend
I
that.
think it's fatigue.
Well, no, not to mention the fact we can't do anything until the snow.
Right.
Right.
So we got 2 months.
Yeah. All righty. Update from, so next steps is basically getting, a proposal with you guys and then also
The
waiting
Bay
for
Area
the,
and the fruit to north.
right, and waiting for the snow to come off to
Yeah.
kind of see what we can do on other stuff. Update from feedback to and next steps for the subcommittee on planning.
I'm gonna show the index page. Okay, so I think you guys know I joined these guys on the planning group. And a couple exercises that we did. All the feedback from 3 or 4 of you have been consolidated. I think you guys got that put into comments. We took those, you, Sean, David.
But we got a consolidated version?
Yeah, that,
Yeah.
I sent those out to email the consolidated feedback. It was just basically everybody's comments in one place. Because obviously different versions, stuff like that. So that was step number 1.
For that.
It's in terms of, it's out the shared drive, I'll send along, yeah. But that's the less, important that you noticed that you were heard. But the most important point is the next step is then what we did is we integrated the comments into a draft. And then at that point,
You will find.
honestly, we sort of stepped back and said, is this the framework that really made sense? Because it was sort of taking on a little bit of a life of its own. So step back, put a framework in place and obviously incorporated those comments, had a couple iterations of the group, and I want to show you guys the index page, send you guys the link. certainly talk about it now. Happy to talk about any aspect of it. So you can see the index page, say what might be missing, if the sections make sense. And then I can give you a little bit of a tour of it. Does that make sense today? And then in between, you can send you the document. You guys can come back. I can do a central connection and socialize with the group. Plan? Yeah.
It's already on the site now, right?
It is in the shared drive, but I'd rather have people not contribute comments there because I will be meeting long. So I'd rather have you guys just look at soft copies, make comments, and you can send them back to me and I can rationalize again. Hopefully we're getting close. You guys be the judge of that. So let me share my screen. Is that all right, Linda? Can I grab it?
Do I have to say bye or you just take it?
I think
Stop. I just say stop. There you go.
and I can, entire screen, share, and then document. Yeah, okay. All right, so, I can make it bigger if you want, but basically, let me just take you through the components of the master plan right now. So executive summary basically just, highlights the overview of the committee, what the scope of our effort is, without too much stepping on the toes of what we already had approved by the select board, and that select board link is referenced there. And it basically restates our charge in sentence, and then obviously refers to the actual charge. That was Sean's feedback, I recall. Then Linda, you had a lot of great feedback on planning horizons, so you'll see that in there represented. And then we have, there was feedback and comments around how we should govern and how we should work between groups. And that kind of came from me, Linda, and a couple of people as well, but really Linda and I were emphasizing that as importance, determining our identities and things like that. And then there's this whole area of managing priorities, which is really the planning, the physical transport group, I think is your name. And in terms of knowledge sharing, how we share knowledge and things like that, I'll show you that in a minute. And then felt it important enough to have a headline section on community engagement. So you'll see that. Some of these sections aren't huge because again, the point here is to reference other documents, but I think it's more of a call out, which is our kind of our mandate. This is almost like our playbook, right? Maintenance sustainability. That was an important aspect. It came out a couple of comments like Linda and I and Dave, I think had made some comments around that. like how are we gonna monitor and evaluate, which is both what the physical trails has done, but also some other comments about who's actually gonna do it, which is roles and responsibilities, important to call that out. And then thought it important funding and budgeting, how we do our annual budget, again, playbook, not a novel. And then long-term cost of ownership, which was, I controlled the pen on that one, so I was like, I'm putting that in there because I'm really concerned that we're gonna get over our skis, no pun intended. Given the early comment. Right, so that's the tour. I'm not necessarily looking for feedback now, but that said, anything glaringly obvious that seems to be missing as a headline?
No, but can I just ask, did any big parts get removed from what we've already seen?
Not removed, probably either condensed,
Merged?
pointed back, merged, rewritten. There was a lot of actually moving around, so I think you'll see the document looks a lot different.
Okay, well, this is only 8 pages and the other one I thought was a lot bigger, but I could.
Eight, well, I went to a lot of links too,
Okay,
but
great.
honestly,
Okay,
we were saying,
the same thing.
we use a lot of words.
And one other question, is the Upper Charles Trail called out very clearly?
Yes,
Okay,
Yep,
good, because
it
it's
is.
not a
if
head.
it's not clear enough, that's the feedback, but
I
yeah.
almost think the feedback is that it should be in that,
It-
the index thing you just went through, the table of contents.
Yeah, and obviously carrying the torch from our previous committee, but I felt the same, that it wasn't emphasized enough, and that the two callings weren't called out. So you'll see this paragraph here that I encourage you guys to read later, but the committee's work is guided by two closely related distinct missions.
Right
They're
there.
calling that out,
Right
right
there.
up. right.
Look it in the index too, though, because for somebody, just remember, just a year ago, there were
Two
two.
colors distinct missions, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine. I'll take, yeah, again.
Somehow fitting it into one of those headings, I think
Yeah.
it's really important.
Yeah,
So
yeah, so we could put it as the top, we can create a section called really what our, whatever bifurcated missions or whatever we call it, but interrelated missions, but yeah, open any feedback there. And then putting in, again, just an overview is basically, I think I got it right, Linda, I kind of, connecting trails and neighbors? I keep,
yes.
okay,
No, connecting nature and neighbors.
okay. Yeah, okay. I was like on the fly. All right, so anyway, so I'm not gonna read the whole thing to you guys. The whole point is for you guys to get it later, but then you can see a link. Sean, you'll be happy. Appreciate the feedback, going back to the charge. So a lot of text could be removed and it didn't have to be synced up. And then that charge, presumably this living document too, if we have a charge or revise, that will go there. Planning horizons, again, the feedback from Linda. I mean, obviously encourage everybody to look at it. Linda, I know it was a draft and proposed concept with some thought put into it clearly. I took it as it was because I personally, and the team, I think, agreed, we thought it was good. But,
I have no recollection of
Yeah,
this, so.
well, these were all horizons. Yeah, I put the
Okay.
years in here because you said like, 1 to 3.
Okay,
you know, But again, people can look and we can discuss at next meeting
Yep.
what falls into it, but I think this cascaded pretty well. But again, it tells more of the story of the playbook. Governance and inter-organizational coordination is calling out. I think we do need a responsibility matrix between the groups, so I sort of underline that. It's, once it's available, we'll insert the link, but I think that would be one of the proposed action items that we can discuss. And, some example groups, but not inclusive, but not limited to. Other key partners mentioned, priorities, we talked about knowledge sharing, the sheet, the Trails Committee segments priority list, I just put a name, but it's a very long link. As you guys know what they look like, they get messy, alphanumeric. And then,
I'm
how
sorry, is it called segments, that document?
trail segments, yeah.
Is
Well,
it?
no, it's not, this isn't the name of the document,
Oh,
it's a descriptor, but there's a hyperlink behind it that's like, looks like up here.
That's a link right there.
Yeah, it is. Look.
Yeah,
Here's the link.
yeah, okay,
okay.
yeah. So the link up here,
Well, no, you just hovered over it and you could see that it popped up and it said the Trails in Hopkinton, which is this right there.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's the link.
yeah, it's a file, Trails in Hopkinton Docs. I mean, I could change the name again.
No, it just, I wouldn't.
But the idea would be,
Right.
I'll give that feedback later, that
Yeah.
I thought we don't want to use the word segments, but.
oh, it said segments I thought it said segments in the file.
It doesn't have
Trail
a
system.
So system, okay,
whatever it says in the master plan,
Yeah.
that can be, it doesn't have to match whatever the name of the document is.
Yeah, no, but I wanted to get the words right, so I changed the system. Yeah, thanks.
But we don't need to wordsmith it now, right?
No, but honestly, important ones, why waste your time if you catch something quickly? I'm just gonna finish.
Let's make it plural systems, I'm sorry, just because you're right there.
That seemed like you got a double
Don't worry, Sean, I'm not gonna go with every word. All right, needs assessment, you guys know about that. We have the trail systems and priorities again. And then we hit a document, prioritization of projects. I think this is probably an area we spend some time on in a future meeting, but basically, what is the process? We talked about it. Is it really documented in steps? I'm not sure. I couldn't find it. You know what I mean? I know we have the form, but I don't know, Linda, I couldn't find it. It might exist, but maybe you
What's
can help.
that?
Like a step of like, what's the actual intake? Do we submit a form? We do this process, we do a quarterly, I know we talked about it. I didn't really see anything succinct that I can,
Yeah, no,
Right.
it's.
yeah, somewhere. I figured it was, but. Public trail usage demand and feedback. This kind of was a section that emerged from some of the documents that Linda had as I poured through the file. I kind of surfaced this up again. Feedback, welcome. Community engagement. So there's a difference between not necessarily, it was tough to separate, but basically we want to increase public usage, demand, and get feedback, but also we want to engage community. So arguably you could probably put that below,
Yeah,
but I figured it was almost like a headline worthy to determine what the usage is different as community engagement. Again, it's a gray area and there's art and science colliding, but that's community engagement, the maintenance sustainability. As we talked about, we kind of need, we have the feedback response playbook that Linda was driving. We have the feedback email address, and then budgeting and funding, we haven't talked much about. And we haven't talked much about the long-term cost of ownership, but I expect that to be a topic at a future meeting. There's your tool. I think that's the structure. You send up the soft copy. Hopefully it tells the story, but it is our playbook of body of work, how we operate, basically. It's our operating plan, kind of.
Thank you.
There you go.
great, good work.
So I'm going to try to figure out how I can stop sharing.
Yes, and as everyone's reviewing this, do be thinking of things that are missing, like the Upper Charles Trail got mentioned. But, how we make sure that somebody picking us up can know where to go and.
Yep.
So our action is we'll include a link to this in the minutes, or I'll attach it to the minutes. People should review it and do what with feedback?
I'm fine that people want to insert comments again. I'd rather you guys take individual soft copies than a shared version, honestly. Although, well, actually, I'm open to this, guys. But Linda, when I got your shared version and I was able to read, we played off each other. So I agree with Linda. So you guys tell me what's the best way. We can.
I'm worried about the meeting on violation.
Yeah,
But if you send it to Scott individually,
Yes, that's okay.
yeah, but you guys can insert comments is what you're saying.
Yeah, because
Operating? Okay.
deliberation.
So let's do it the first way, then I'll send, or we'll get the soft copy, Linda's version that's dated February 16th, version 9, in the folder.
Yep.
And we'll go from there. And then ideally, feedback received, a couple weeks from now would be ideal. So we get 2 weeks before the next meeting to plan the agenda and topics that are the hot buttons. Yep. Sounds good.
Before we go into the next one, I forgot to update you guys. I did increase the Trails in Hopkinton list substantially. There was a bunch of properties that was on open spaces land list that was not on the trails list. And that was because they were owned by homeowners associations.
Okay. Yep.
And so I've added all those properties.
I'd be curious to see that.
No, it was, right?
I'm sorry?
The link from the master.
It's in there. No, it's in there. We just saw the pop-up. Yeah.
I just didn't see the whole list.
I'll take a look at a couple that are. Be curious about.
Oh, I spent a lot of time updating. So I got a lot of properties.
But just a general comment, I think it's a good idea for us to put links to key documents like that Trails Priorities one into the master plan.
It is.
We can all find them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that one's, but other ones, I'm just saying that that linkage thing is a key aspect of the master plan.
Absolutely. Yeah, whatever you guys have. And even, structure doesn't have to live as it is. If we have other documents that are related, or if we want to have a supporting document section, then I think that's fine too. You know, I don't want it to be like a dumping ground. or let me rephrase it, it's, you know, I don't recommend a dumping ground. Right. Because we want context,
It's how it's.
we want context of documents. We don't want to just say, read at your leisure, then we give them a link to the folder.
Okay, so I mean, I think next steps is pretty clear, it's up to you. One other next steps item that I wanted to be thinking about for kind of, once this is done, is I do think planning for the Upper Charles Trail, you know, is something we might want to think about. As a, going back to an update, I met with the Ashland Chair and Vice Chair of their Upper Charles Trail Committee, new people. Not Joel, no, Joel Vaught. And they're actually rethinking and kind of taking a step back and kind of seeing where they want to go. So at the same time, we are kind of doing the same thing. But having said that, you know, it is something that we need to keep in the back of our minds as something for long-term planning. It is down the road, but
So good.
exactly.
It's kind of, I look at Ashland as almost like back in the day, the railroads. It's like building it, are they gonna meet or?
Well, that's it. It's,
You gotta figure it out and make sure you're not like this, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the win.
Exactly. Yeah. They have, you know, a ton of private properties they have to deal with. They're kind of focusing right now on the eastern edge, so out towards the Holliston, Sherburne,
Oh,
Framingham link.
Oh, at Framingham,
But they want to be looking at our side too.
Yeah.
Anyway, so moving on, update from feedback to and next steps for outreach.
So right now it's just me, maybe Ken has one of those sense.
Done.
So the first thing, the networking event we've been talking about, I
Yeah.
have scheduled it for March 31st. I haven't sent out the invitations because I wanted to come here first to make sure no one had any big objections to that. So everybody doesn't have to go, but you probably won't go. It'll be 5:45 to 7:45 at the library, where 5:45 to 6 is kind of checking in and getting scheduled, and the formal thing will start at 6, just because we'll run out of time if we start much later. And I have the emails ready to send out to all the different people and groups, so if we're good with that date, I've booked the Betty Strong Room at the library. I told them we bring in some small snacks and water, maybe tea, I don't know. I don't want to get too crazy with the food.
Right.
So any objections to that?
No, what night of the week is that?
So
Tuesday.
And the reason I picked it is there's 5 Tuesdays that month, so probably hardly any, so we're not meetings on the town calendar,
Oh, no select board.
no select.
Nice.
I don't know that that means anything, but we'll see. So,
So is this meeting gonna have an agenda then?
yes, it does. Yes. So I can send that to everybody here.
Yeah.
It's a little more of a formality, and what I'm doing is customizing sort of the opening to everybody to say why I think they want to be there, so they don't just see it as a junk list. And we have a lot of groups that we're inviting, so we'll see who comes. And one of my questions was, should we invite any neighboring town groups like Upstate Forest or Ashland, or those are the two I thought of most. Holliston has reached out to us, Westboro has reached out to us, so I'm not sure this is the right event for that.
Right, I think,
Maybe do the first one.
right,
That's what I think. Okay,
yeah.
Yeah, Linda, if you need help setting up or planning or anything like.
I will.
Yeah.
So we still have next meeting to do that final planning, but I wanted the date to be ready.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay,
logo design. So I'm gonna open up the page with the logos and share that. And I'll share the feedback I got.
One is printing it.
What's that? Is that a printer sound?
That's what it's now.
The vacuum cleaner.
Oh.
That's part of our logo. We have a visual, an auditory logo.
Okay, so how did you get the things to show up on the side?
One thing,
The little windows instead of across the top, because they take up.
it was a view. They're down, where was it? When you click the three buttons, is there three buttons you have down
Adjust.
somewhere? And then it says, yeah,
Okay,
It's just
so I
a
can
full
see
screen.
sidebar, just spotlight it, right? And we don't have to see the names because,
sidebar. See the sidebar is the bottom one?
hold on, just pick that one. See, I thought spotlight would do it, but okay, great, thanks. It didn't do it. Oh, well,
Yeah.
give up. Okay, so this is what we got from the designer, and just to review a few things. First of all, the process is that we get initial designs, we narrow it down to 2 or 3. The designer does updates based on our feedback on those 2 or 3 we narrow down to, and then they do more updates based on our feedback. So we have, after we give this feedback, we still have 2 more rounds. That's the first thing. The second thing to keep in mind, Sean had some questions about what the purpose of the logo was. And maybe Sean wasn't at the meeting when we talked about it, or maybe was, but a long time ago, Scott and Jack and I met to talk about the logo, and we kind of presented here the purpose. The purpose is to give a visual identity to Hopkinton Trails. It's not about the committee, it's about the trails. So we want people to think of Hopkinton Trails as the place to go, so they don't have to know, oh, that's an Audubon trail, or that's an SVT or a Halt trail. So they come to Hopkinton Trails, and yes, it's the committee behind it, but it's not about the committee, because throwing one more organization name in just adds confusion in our view. So that's some feedback, and this logo would be used in social media, in banners. And the main point is to let people know it's about Trails in Hopkinton. It's not about the committee. So I hope that helps a little with what the purpose is. I did get feedback from David, Scott, Andy, and myself. So I only have input on this from 4 people. I can summarize what I've gotten so far, and then other people do that. So let me just share the summary. Well, okay, so I guess basically, David, you, sorry, I have to scroll that page. It's hard for me because I can't have both pages open at once. David, can you, so these were the designs. There's a sort of design number 1, which has an H and a T in it. I don't know if you made that out.
I had no idea. I was wondering, what is that brown thing in the back?
It's supposed to be a T for Hopkinton Trails. So the other thing I'm going to say,
Oh, the Sequoia?
no, Angie's feedback was, I don't really love any of them. And I have to agree with you. I don't love any. So I'm hoping that we can give enough feedback to make the next rounds that we like them more. If not, maybe we cut the process and find someone else. But I didn't feel like she spent a lot of time talking to me and had me fill out a form, and then what we got didn't necessarily match what I gave. So I was a little disappointed with that. So the first one she's trying to get something in the image that relates to Hopkinton. So I think she used the H2. The second, oh, it's a
Lowercase h,
See?
yeah,
It's barely an H.
Yeah,
yeah.
so that green.
I like the tree,
Oh,
and I like the
I
trail.
was trying to figure out why the green, it looks like a cross.
It's very generic though, the tree trail, that windy trail, it's like everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like,
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with that as long as it's got her name with it. But in any case, I also don't like that the trail's white, so I feel it's too busy, but. Okay, the next one was showing, that's a bike wheel, a hiking boot and a ski. And Scott, you preferred this one, but I was a little interested in your saying that because when you and Jack and I met, we said we specifically don't want to show activities because there's too many and we'll exclude people.
Yeah,
That's what
but
the
it's
trail
people in motion.
does.
I like this because it was simple and visual and felt relatively all-inclusive because it could be a wheelchair wheel or it could be someone walking or what have you. And I honestly, for the identity, liked the larger, simpler, more fun lettering
Mhm.
as well.
Mhm.
So it emphasized more of the brand of the Hopkinton Trails and then what it enables you to do. So I like that. And I thought I could see it on t-shirts, I could see it on banners.
The one thing I don't like about it too, though, is it's kind of similar in that the Trails Club does something similar. They have four different activities.
So they have the
That's what I
AMC.
Be a trail marker, that totally threw me.
Yeah, I like the top.
So this is not gonna be a trail marker?
I'm sorry.
I thought it was a trail marker, those round things, discs that
Oh,
would go on a,
Oh, no, this would be a logo.
I couldn't see them as.
So let me try to take note of the paper.
I'm sorry, I can't envision how, you said this is not going to be covering SVT or HALT. Or OSPC two, or?
It's not covering it. It's an umbrella. We want to see us as the umbrella.
I understand the concept, right? But when you say we as the umbrella, we as the committee as the umbrella.
Right, but we don't want to emphasize the word committee because that's where people get hung up. Should I be talking to the Trails Club? Should I be talking to the Trails Committee? Should I be talking to Audubon?
Well,
Should I be talking to
well, you just said we want to be the umbrella. We, the committee, want to be the umbrella.
But we don't want to emphasize the word committee
How
there.
about town?
It's not the people of the committee. We want to emphasize market, create awareness, identity for the asset in town being the trips.
Right,
Regardless of
that's our
who
product.
controls them, conservatorship, owns them, manages them, maintains them. It's the asset of trails in town. So it's really on behalf of the town of Hopkinton. We want to market,
So you're saying,
create awareness.
and that's a big difference, and you don't want to identify town, but that's what we are, we're town
Yeah.
versus the club.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah, we're the sponsor, we're the sponsor,
Trails.
and they're sort of the, advocate.
I know you don't want that, but that's the big problem. How do you
Their problem is
differentiate?
we already have a million.
Well, that's it, that's in the master plan, and I think we do have to flush that out of the meeting. We have to talk about that, but I think that I'm still on board with, the town needs increased awareness in marketing, whether it's through social, and get more usage and awareness of this asset in town. Then we get more awareness and it becomes more appealing, more usage, there's more funding, we can maintain more, we get more volunteers. Again, it's not like left to right, up to down. I know it's, there's a lot of interdependencies. It's
Average citizen doesn't need to know whether it's a trail that's maintained by the Trails Club, Trails Committee. What they need to know is that Hopkinton Trails.
Yeah. And there are a bunch of entities involved in the trails to make them work and operate and get funded and maintained and built and extended and planned. Those are the entities. But again, to the town, regular town user or whatever, this is an asset. And we want you to know that it's an important asset of town. So.
We keep going back to town.
Well,
I tell.
no, but it's an asset
I
to the
know, but
town.
you don't want to say that, but.
No, it's the word Hopkinton's in there.
Yeah, the word Hopkinton is in there. We don't need to say town of Hopkinton Trails because
So it's not Hopkinton Committee Trails. It's
a
not
logo is got very few words, as few as, and maybe even none sometimes. That's not the point. The point is to raise awareness, not for people to go, does that exactly say everything it's meaning to say?
Well, that one right there, it says Hopkinton.
Yeah, they're all gonna say Hopkinton. Is that?
That's not what I'm saying. Is that you?
Yeah, it's not
that
the same town.
Yeah, but it's not committee versus club or
No,
any of
no.
that. Yeah, okay. I thought you were on that. Okay.
No.
I'm just, like I said, my flag is, it's ambiguous. Right?
What aspect is ambiguous? So
Well, because I think that's,
Well, we're not.
right.
Well, see, the thing is, you guys know way more than your average citizen. Your average citizen has no idea that there's a club or a committee. Maybe they've heard of it, maybe they know about it a little bit, but mostly they don't. What they care about is, I want to use a trail. I don't want to need to know whether it's a club or a committee I should talk to. or go to their website or any of that.
Right, so, okay, so that average per,
Hopkinton Trails.
right, and so so what's the logo gonna do to help that?
It helps people see that this is about trails in Hopkinton. It's not about that the club is having a meeting or the committee is sponsoring of this. It's just about.
The logo,
It's creating awareness is primarily, and the tagline of connecting nature and neighbors hopefully motivates them and creates the meaning and the value of the trails.
Linda, where do you see the logo being used?
In our social media, on, if we have articles in the newspaper, it may go along with it. It could be on banners.
T-shirts saying out to volunteers, scouts, for example.
Sure. Could, I mean,
Volunteer of the Year Award.
yeah, things like that, things like that.
No, it's important to have something.
I mean, the ideal would have been that our signs, our roadside signs might have had this logo. I don't know that that's gonna happen, but, you know, it'd be like anywhere we do something with Hopkinton Trails, we may have this logo with it.
Yeah, I mean, well, we put up 4 signs, so if we want to,
Great, so far.
great, we want to update it to
We could,
logo,
it could work,
it would make sense probably to do that.
right,
And so that's the question,
yeah.
you know, I mean, again, I like the upper ones. I think the H and T, I like the color. I'm not sure about the birds flying around or the
We're a
trees.
little busy.
That's kind of,
That's
I think,
actually not birds, it's
I know,
branch.
I know. That can go away. But I think even just a visible H and a visible T with the tree and with the trail.
The last one I'll
Really?
That, let me just
Yeah.
scroll. So somebody, David, are you the one who likes C?
I like C and D, yeah, because they were simpler. And
Which
they
one?
just.
C and D.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
I would put the tree in instead of the branch because
Yeah, that's what I added. Well, it's like, you need a tree in there, not the.
It looks a little oceanic to me. It looked like a tributary of a river. That's why.
a river, C.
And the other thing it doesn't have, I really like connecting nature and neighbors to be somewhere in it.
Oh, it could be in it. So you don't have to take the text,
Like,
and the
take
pictures
pieces?
are mix and match, yeah.
Yeah, so this could go, you put this on the roadside, and then if you're making a T-shirt, you have connecting.
Yeah, you don't have to put the little word on the sides, I agree.
Is there a more iconic image for the town? I mean, I'm new here, I don't know.
Right there.
And Elaine said do not make it anything like.
I know. That's what I mean. Please don't.
State House, and you look at the logos for all the towns, half of them are like that,
Yeah,
half of them are cool and modern, like something more like this. So
I mean, the gazebo in the town square, there's nothing,
everybody has a gazebo, and that has nothing to do with our trails.
that would be nice to mark the city as, and I can't come up with that thing, but.
Let's go find out. I say, to make sure that we're expressing for all abilities, I think having a shoe or foot might not be.
That's my problem
Right.
with that,
Yes.
it limits it.
We want to be, and,
I like the look of it.
Yeah.
no, it's creative,
Yeah.
but I think it's, you know.
Well, it's very basic though. I mean, everything else is everyone, well, almost everyone has a foot. I mean, and the trail, walking on the trail is kind of the most basic use of it. If you go out there, you see,
Understood, but some people aren't able to walk, some people are
some people.
by other means, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like,
Just a minor point, but some people, like a lot of people come to Trails Club, they call them walks because they don't want to think of them as hiking. So a hiking shoe makes it seem harder. It's not a big deal, but just a minor.
I like the, what do you say, C you like? It-
I like C and D both. Those are
Yeah.
my-
Yeah, I think.
Linda asked for kind of our top two. Those were
I mean,
my top
to
two.
your point, the horizon as a straight line, I think having a little topography in there, show,
Yeah.
I mean, we are the Hillers,
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
that would be good.
I liked R,
You liked what?
R.
Okay, hold on, let me keep going. Okay, so then I hated E. Did anybody like E?
I did not.
I don't even get it, but
I felt like I was going to a show, a ballet in Boston or something.
Valentine.
So then we go down to F and she wanted to put in a heart because people love trails and I said, oh, yeah, right.
Don't think that's gonna.
Gag me with the spoon.
I like this one R with the tree instead though.
Yeah, I like that
And
one.
I like that even better than the first one. It's a little simpler, like if we were gonna.
It is.
T, I like that.
Yeah, I don't really like the H and the T.
I don't either.
No.
I think it's too much. It's too busy.
It's never really used. I mean.
I didn't even see what the,
Yeah, it's like you're trying to fit it in.
Trying to get something out.
I appreciate the effort, but.
So if you took in out of R, just to take that one and took the T and the H out
Yeah.
and put a little, undulation or whatever.
Blue sky.
Yeah, blue sky.
Blue sky. Yeah.
Yeah, combines the blue sky above and D or whatever that David liked in that one, so.
Blue sky and a tree
It
Yeah.
seems to me if
and
we
a
gave,
trail.
yeah, if we gave her the feedback, simplify one, simplify, I mean, yeah, way up top there, simplify this last one, get rid of the H's and the T's, make some hills, get rid of the silly branches.
you know, get rid of the boardwalk stuff as well.
Simple, well, that's not in.
Well,
But that's, we're not.
I guess. Yeah,
Simple hill, Linda.
but even in the other ones, there was a boardwalk, like
Yes, but we don't.
once
care
above.
It's only, and then so C, make it less. So for C, so we'll narrow it down to these three, then make it less river-like, add a hill, maybe get rid of the branch.
And the boardwalk.
I mean, honestly, if you made, I know the trail moves, but if you made it look less like squiggly and you could make it whatever, there might be a way to make that look like less like a river.
Yeah,
The trail in R looks better than the trail. in-
Yeah, well, that's more of a swoosh, that's what I'm saying, that doesn't look like a river.
Right.
what do we think of the colors? Does anybody have color preferences at this? point?
Well, green, for sure.
Yeah,
Some sort of green.
pillar green and orange.
So the darker green or the lime green or the olive green?
Which are, I think darker. The darker being the one in the middle?
The eight.
The one bright G.
But the,
See, yeah, G or H.
Yeah.
So one thing, remember Linda, I from some way back when I was doing some website that I had a logo, I just stuck in my head. You want to pick logos that could print or be represented in black and white or shades of gray as well as color. And the more colors you have, by far exponentially more expensive is to print. So
correct.
you
No,
want to keep or the color palette, like the blue versus a,
When you print these days,
what's
you
that?
print a poster at Staples, I don't care how many colors you have.
Yeah.
What you're talking about is far more for like magazines and
Yeah.
things like that.
Well,
These
I'm
days,
just saying what
Yeah.
I remember, but
it's part of why there is a black and white here.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if one of the versions
Yeah.
worked in black and white, it can go on a T-shirt or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Yep, so we can kind of see how some of them.
T-shirts are expensive.
All right, we like the idea of a pine tree, so green.
do.
And if we do a blue, do we like that dark blue that's in H? If we do a blue for sky, or do we like a sky blue? She kind of has to make it look good together.
I like the blue and the H.
I like these.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and maybe there would be tan and brown. Is that fine? Maybe.
Yeah, or even the white for contrast. It's,
Mhm.
I think, fine.
Okay. I didn't like having a white trail because when I look at those, it looks like, to me, it looks like snow, but
Yeah. Well, that's not bad to make it seasonal. If we're gonna have a pine tree.
What's with the bar on the,
yeah.
Q and R, that's
That's a good question. David asked that. She meant those to be boardwalks. Remember, this isn't final, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, that was,
Not where they are. If they were
so in.
parallel to the trail further, it
All
might
right,
be.
we gotta keep moving
One
on.
of those things, deciduous tree or coniferous tree? She only showed coniferous, but
I would
Yeah.
like to see a deciduous as an option. I mean, because what's shown there is really a spruce, not a pine, and spruce aren't really, I mean, we do have some spruce that are native, but not very many.
I mean, would it be weird to have one of each?
I don't think
Yeah.
so. I think she
Like
had.
one on the left?
No, it had to be together
I would
in
go
different sizes.
Or a pine. Either one.
Okay, I can tell her to play with those.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the feedback. That was
All right.
And then, just real quick,
Yeah.
the Hopkinton Trails and the tagline,
Yes.
there's a lot of different varieties there. Is any of that
There is.
favored or?
Yeah, if you want to send me your favorites, you can, because I think we're gonna run out of time pretty soon.
Yeah.
So do me a favor and send your favorites of those to me, and she'll include those. I kind of like
The H.
I like C here, but I want the connecting nature and neighbors to be in all
Well,
caps.
I was going with the assumption, probably wrongly, that in the H, it says Hopkins Trails in the middle, it really pops in the sky.
Uh-huh.
I
Mhm.
kind of like that, and then we have the option, or not, to put connecting
That's
nature and neighbors at the bottom if we wanted to, right? You know, like I said, can move it without disturbing the main
sure.
Yeah,
thing, and that fits on the side.
That's a good point. And then,
it does
so
pop.
then get back to me on fonts or whether you like little squiggly lines or dots or any of that. But if you can do it within the next few days, then I can get back to her.
Okay.
There's,
Can I please know?
yeah,
So about the connecting nature neighbors,
Mhm.
an alternative might be to just have the word nature and then a double arrow in between that and neighbors.
it always get it.
Yeah, I think the words.
I just don't like words.
All right. Well, no, you're right. In logos, you're supposed to have as few words as possible, but I do think it becomes
You don't think-
what does that mean?
I
No,
don't think there's any symbol you could put in there that would make the point.
no.
Feedback reporting, just to let you know, the website form on feedback reporting is implemented. IT happens to be out, but next week they should be in, then we'll add it to the website and then we'll do some publicity on it. And the only other minor things are, we're gonna try to do a historical walk in conjunction with the US 250th signing of the Declaration with the Trails Club, probably related to the Dickman person at Fruit Street. And we're gonna involve the historical groups, so that'll be something we'll do.
Sounds like a good bit. All righty, moving on. Very briefly, Trails 101, that's primarily Trails Club initiative. And the idea is to have boards with the various trail networks through town to let, sort of introduce people to town, another way to reach out to new folks, or folks who aren't familiar with the trails. The idea, the hope is to be able to do it on a day that then allows folks to go over behind Center School and go for a walk on the trails there. But, you know, it is April, it is New England. We are planning something in advance, which means it's almost certainly going to rain, but we'll try. Accounting, almost guaranteed. Accounting,
Just one last thing on that, I thought actually our committee was gonna drive it with support from the club.
okay.
Thought we had talked
One more.
about it a few times, was that?
Well, then we're already doing the March 31st thing.
Mhm.
I think we bumped this to the club.
Well, one of my concerns is last time we did something with the club, John kind of had all the say and there was no changing his mind on anything. And if we're gonna be involved with this, I don't really want to not have any say in what's gonna happen. I could give you various examples, but it was kind of not great, so either we lead it or John doesn't run it, or he needs to learn how to play nicely. I'm saying it in a mean way, I guess. I don't mean it to be mean, but he just really took control and did not accept input, and I'm not really wanting us to work that way on.
Right. Although I think it's going to be pretty simple.
You would think that, but
The 31st one anyway, so.
There's also a co-marketing of the
yeah,
event too, that I think that would be helpful to get it broader than just the consistent people that get outreach from the Trails Club.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
through school committee or whatever, we can, then I think we can help with that.
Okay, so let's talk about it in more detail.
Yeah.
I'll move it higher.
Talking about end of April, since we're Monday first.
Yeah.
yeah, so we have 2 meetings after this to
Yeah.
work on it,
Right,
and as you
right.
say, it's not a big deal.
All righty, moving on, accounting and budget. So, let's see. So one of the things that I authorized was $300 for the logo. Linda, what's the status with the town on getting them a check? Do we know?
I sent them everything they needed. I don't know if the check went out.
But so that's being the town's taking care of that. I assume at some point we'll get that to final approve. As far as items to approve right now, we have Hopping and Lumber, a $11.30 bill for stakes for trail marking. Chuck. Dog Waste Depot, $319.98 for the dog waste bags.
How much money?
$319.98. Permaline, and that's the signs, that was $687.60. That's the signs that went up on the roads. And then we have $150 for Lucas. They're the Concom's consultant who reviewed the notice of intent submission for the Chamberlain to Loop Road Trail, and that's coming out of CPA funds.
How much was that?
That was $150.
So what, do you want these individually approved or can you do it?
No, I'm looking for
Total.
I don't know what the total is. The total is
I can make a motion, since I can see it, because I'm dialed in. I'll make a motion that we approve the
less than
invoices.
1,000.
$300 for the logo down payment. I don't know who that's to, Linda, but $11.30. Chopping lumber for trail markings, $319.98 for dog waste bags, and $687.80 for road signs, and $150 for Lucas for the I guess the review.
Right, review of notice of intent.
Yeah,
There's that money to come from the CPA funds.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any abstentions or noes? Unanimous and so carries. All righty. Getting late, but wanted to just sort of start again, the thinking. Something Sean and I were actually talking about is the coordination with other committees. Pros and cons of keeping things in our budget versus having DPW do things. But more importantly, let's make sure that we're not double counting stuff. The meeting tomorrow is going to be part of that. It's meeting with the open space folks and talking with them about, how do we all work together to coordinate things that need to get done.
To double down on that tomorrow, one of the reason why I pulled the agenda going is I'm actually going to go on behalf of Hull.
Okay.
And they are going to be talking about Whitehall Peninsula. Right, this is where we just had the Trails Club just had their walk.
Mm-hmm.
And because there's multiple vested parties interested in Whitehall Peninsula, whether it's Friends of Whitehall, SVT, Open Space, Parks and Rec, Trails Committee, right, et cetera, State Park,
Yeah.
DCR. One of the topics of discussion tomorrow night will be what's the best MO for maintenance?
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be interesting to see what comes out. I am a little surprised that, I was happy to see that you were on the agenda,
Me too.
but not on this issue.
Yeah,
You're
Right?
right.
On the mowing,
I'm
It's on the mowing.
you're gonna expand that.
All right.
That's one example.
Nice TV.
Are there trails there?
What is a town trail?
Was it?
What is a town trail?
Well, when we look at that ownership list,
I'm asking you, what is a town trail? If you just said, is there a town trail?
on Whitehall Peninsula was my question.
Are there parks and rec trails? Are there open space trails?
Yeah.
Is that a town trail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked for a question. I was borderline being too snarky, but it's just like, okay,
Right.
what's a town? I don't know, Linda.
Okay.
That's my point. You say,
I guess, and then-
Parks and Rec's gonna be there. Open space, they're having the meeting.
Yeah.
But that goes back to this sort of, I don't know, whatever you call it, responsibility matrix, right?
Yeah.
Exactly, because to your point, it could be town-owned, there could be conservatorship on top of it, it could be landlocked by someone else.
That's why.
That's what you're talking about, this peninsula, right?
I just want to know, I want to know what the answer is. What's a town
But
trail?
there's gonna be no one answer. I think it's gonna have to
I
be,
know,
it's gonna have to be different roles and responsibilities. Like,
that's my point.
yeah,
That's exactly my point.
it's complex.
Singing.
Yeah.
And so it's just like,
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised. I would think that Trails Committee would have been involved
Mhm.
as part of that discussion.
That we would take the lead on that.
But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Regardless, people there are in the know, right? And that's the point. But I think based upon this, I think this discussion will continue for months, honestly.
Yeah.
And I also think that we, the Trails Committee, will model that for Elmwood Farm, potentially Fruit Street, definitely Berry Acres / Center Schools, right?
Mhm.
Legacy, north and south.
So is Halt basically, moderating, mediating?
Oh, like I said,
Whatever
whatever
works.
works, want to back up. I'm going on behalf of Hull.
Yeah.
It's an open space meeting.
Oh, okay, right.
So what is Hull?
But
Someone
someone
at
has
CR
to
on
the
some
agenda.
properties over there.
Okay.
Halted.
They're actually rather small.
Seems like the wrong group
Yeah.
to go.
So did Holt put the trails in that are there?
Part of it.
Part of it's,
Whitehall.
part of it's Whitehall,
Yeah.
part of it's DCR, but yeah, there are trails that are on.
That little conservation.
And there's private property.
Tiny part.
Yep.
So the only reason I react, I forget the word you used, Sean, but basically emulate a model after. I feel like, or Jane or someone said, I feel like we should kind of frame up what this responsibility matrix look like. Here are the different activities that need to happen, like clearing parking, mowing, those are some of the obvious ones, but there's also, various aspects of maintaining, enhancing,
Side.
and then there's different roles, like if you're a conservator, then you qualify, you have to be responsible for this. You know what I mean? I don't know if you're gonna do it in open
Somebody
space.
should take the lead on it. I don't,
I
I would suggest it needs to be a town.
I mean, to you.
It should be a committee from all.
all right. Okay.
Backing up to the logo discussion, our job is the asset. So in this case, there's a central parking area there that Halt, I'm pretty sure, put in.
By Reed Park?
By, no, it's on Wood Street. On Wood Street. That's Halt. There's also parking at Reed Park.
But I'm not sure if it's.
There's also nations by the dam.
By Nations.
There's also parking that's the DCR parking. We as the asset holders for the town with regard to trails, our job is to make sure there's parking there, which there is, and that's it, and make sure that that parking is maintained. Our job is not, for example, to maintain the whole parking.
No, you just said, I was gonna, but you just,
All right.
so, but who plows it? If there's a tree down in the parking lot versus a trail, like is that a
Yes,
different?
I look here.
Yeah.
Because there's 3 or 4 different parking areas governed or maintained by 4 different organizations. And your son loves us. Right.
I think it's.
For the town, our job is to make sure that that it allows the asset, the trail asset to be used. So that we
So
can
we
go to
create
Halt and
awareness.
say, hey, just to remind you.
Okay. Well, at any point, let's see what happens with the conversation tomorrow. It's extremely complex
Yeah.
and there's a lot of vested interest. So I'm not sure how much we're going to go into the details of what you talked about, Scott. Tomorrow.
No, I know, it's pretty.
So as part of the master plan and as part of the planning group in this, it feels to me like there should be some sort of working group, which includes people from these different organizations, meets separately, comes back, somebody from this committee who's in that working group comes back here, relays that, but there's so much to be done on this problem. It's going to take a while. And it needs people from different groups. So that would just be a suggestion I would make that.
Yeah, I agree
I
with
think
that.
ultimately, but it's gonna be property by property.
You're right.
But there's a
Area,
framework,
just have a network.
yeah, there's a framework that is not completed.
Right.
That you look at a property and say, okay, here's the responsibility accountable, here's who has to be informed. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Racy.
No, I do. I mean,
Yeah.
so again, looking at using this property as an example, Halt has put up signage, arrows and stuff. So from our perspective, can somebody go in there and feel safe that they're not going to get lost? Well, I got a lake on one side, so they should be able to do that. But because it is signed, but there may be places in there. Certainly the state trail is marked differently.
All right. And the SB2 trail might be marked differently.
Right,
It is, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why you gotta be cautious. I encourage you to use caution on how we describe things, Peter.
Right.
Right, because right now it just sounds like the way you're talking was, oh, no, there's multiple organizations doing multiple different things. And the flag here, Mike, I wanted to just raise awareness that I think it's a good thing that Open Space is having a meeting tomorrow.
Yes.
And based on the conversation, which I think will take months to get it clear, we could potentially use that for other different trail systems.
Yes.
That was my.
Yeah. I'm not sure, Linda, to your point, we extend the invitation to different groups. They're like, not me, and they want to attend, or participate. That's my concern. They'll be the sort of, I'm not responsible.
It varies. Now, in this one, you've got, DCR is usually.
This is a good
active,
example.
Alt is active,
People interested.
SVT are active,
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
Great.
no, they're all, I'm saying like as a overall, what I mean, that would be my concern. Invite DPW to a meeting to say, we want to discuss your role and responsibility for maintaining trails. Do you think they'll show up? Maybe.
Well, no, I think that networking group, I don't know if it's a topic in the conversation.
Yeah, yeah,
Right, that's right.
that's a good idea. Maybe introduce the concept there.
But we talked about, when we started today's meeting, we talked about Pine Field, right? And that would be collaboration with mostly Parks and Rec.
Right.
I've invited them to, or will be inviting them to the networking.
But that's it,
Yeah.
There's-
Alrighty, I think we're done. Motion to adjourn,
So moved.
second. Okay.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Thanks. All right.
Line, I mean, it's not what I'm saying, so no.
I went in there and I was that sort of field. I can't take my struggle out over. I was like, I guess it's not good. I can do. You have a plow place there. All three, nothing shoveling. Well, there's a, I know.
And talking about going down there.
Yes, there is.
But Pine Field is a small field.
Yeah, sorry, the filler.
It's like baseball, very bad.
Yeah, it's getting him. Yeah, but there's a water spigot there. There's a water thing out of the ground too, so.
That's what David's saying. I can't.
I think that it's when you pull into the right. Baseball.
Going to the cemetery, which I should do. I don't think you put any.
I'm just saying, like, I tell John.
No.
Yeah, the cemetery. Okay.
But I was gonna go over
Right, have to be, pick it up at the corner of the cemetery. Right where the corner of the outfield is.
Yeah, but
That makes
it's one of the things we talked about again for the whole maintenance is.
Yeah, it's right there.
Example, right now,
Yes, I mean, it was having a one little table, so a lot of things they were talking about, oh, they're not gonna move the field for us, but maybe we can. These trails, trail around them.
I remember this, well, it's interesting, it's all 200 spaces. Well, after that, but they're not here, Jamie, so I'm.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's like, we're curious, helping them
Access.
focus on.
If that fire say, what is it, alive, across the town, that, because I know they were concerned about safety, about the trucks, like going through kids and finding, which I fully appreciate. Yeah, I worked it. I mean, it's fine, the whole thing.
I mean, practice.
Yeah.
What do you mean, Chad?
I don't think we need to.
Brett. I mean, plow for another. I know.
I'm there.
No, it's not. Well, so people pulling on the street. So that's the kind of stuff like.
It's frozen, yeah.
you can get very important to get in touch with
Yeah.
DPW and say, okay, here's what I do.
Yeah.
We don't probably gonna read
Yeah, it's probably gonna do it. I think they're on their lots.
But yeah, I mean,
John was talking about.
doing the.